You're watching Left, Right and Centre, our second debate this evening. After the Congress in their Karnataka election manifesto say that they will ban the Bajrang Dal along the lines of the ban on the PFI, the BJP has launched into this on the election campaign with the Prime Minister chanting Jai Bajrang Bali at all three public meetings that he addressed. Before this, Mr. Modi accused the Congress of earlier having locked up the Lord Ram, a reference to the Babri Masjid episode, and now attempting to lock up those who worship the Lord Hanuman. So is this a move naming the entire, to get into the entire issue of a ban on the Bajrang Dal, which is potentially going to backfire on the Congress? That's what we are looking at very, very closely indeed.
Bajrang Bali ki. Bajrang Bali ki.
The Prime Minister going on the offensive after the Congress manifesto on Tuesday promised a ban on the Bajrang Dal.
कांग्रेस कर्नाटका को दिल्ली में उनका जो शाही परिवार बैठा है ना, उस शाही परिवार का नंबर 1 एटीएम बनाना चाहती है।
The Bajrang Dal is a controversial group, part of the RSS BJP Sangh Parivar, and has been linked to various incidents of violence. But as the Prime Minister went on the offensive, the Congress appeared to go on the defensive, with the party chief reluctant to explain why they announced this. On the other hand, DK Shivakumar, seen as a CM contender, took on the Prime Minister, while Kharge's son, a candidate, defended the move as a proposal to ban any fringe elements.
So what was the thinking behind, including that in the manifesto, that is banning of Bajrang Dal? What was the thinking behind?
This is already Dr. Parmeshwar has clarified. He was a chairman of drafting committee of that. So he has already yesterday replied, I don't want to reply.
Agreed, you're the president, sir, but why did
No, I don't want to reply that. Once my party people have replied.
ನಾವು ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಭಕ್ತರು. ಬಜರಂಗ್ ದಳ್ಗೂ ಹನುಮಂತಂಗೂ ಏನು ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ? ಹನುಮಂತನೇ ಬೇರೆ, ಬಜರಂಗ್ ದಳನೇ ಬೇರೆ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಔಟ್ಫಿಟ್. ಏನು ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಹೆಸರು ಇಟ್ಕೊಬಿಟ್ಟಾರೆ. ಬಜರಂಗ್ ದಳ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಅವರು ಕಾನೂನಿನ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆನ ಮಿಸ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
We are very clear in the manifesto saying that any fringe elements will be banned. Any fringe elements. It doesn't matter whom it is backed by.
The BJP is taking the issue nationwide. In Madhya Pradesh, a senior BJP minister, Narottam Mishra, asking the Congress's state chief Kamal Nath on whether they intended to ban the Bajrang Dal in the state too. Elections are due in MP later this year. NDTV Bureau Report.
All right, well, joining us now, Dr. Ajay Kumar of the Congress Party. We're joined by Professor Chandan Gowda as well, Zainab Sikandar, Rahul Ishwar and Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Ajay Kumar, was it really necessary for the Congress to bring up the discussion on a ban on the Bajrang Dal, given that the BJP appears to be capitalizing on it politically ahead of the elections?
Look, Vishnu, I'm in Bangalore. On the ground, it's the national channels which are going hammer and tongs and propagating what the Prime Minister wants to say. And sorry to say, I'm not saying you're doing it. But on the ground, the local channels are not doing so much of tamasha which the national channels are doing. First question. The second issue is that if Bajrang Dal and Lord Hanuman is saying, then God save us. The Prime Minister is and Prime Minister has reduced the stature of the office of the Prime Minister to such a ridiculous extent. Even he knows the Hanumanji and Bajrang Dal. Now, in Mangalore, where I'm sitting today, the Bajrang Dal is accused of killing a Dalit person. Is accused of killing a person from the Pilava community called Mr. Pujari, Hemant Pujari, if I remember the name, in 2015. They were earlier targeting the minorities, now they started targeting different people. So my issue is very simple, is that as a responsible political party, first we would tell that the Prime Minister definitely needs to apologize, because a bunch of guys, and the kind of people, Dhruv Saxena, if that is, he's equating them with Hanumanji, then he needs to apologize first.
Right.
The second issue is The major issue in Karnataka is the cry PM and the pay CM issue and the 40% commission government, which is the major issue, which is actually impacting everybody.
So, Ajay, what you're saying is it's not impacting you, right? That's the bottom line.
No, let me complete, Vishnu. I mean, my question is, on the ground in Karnataka, the local channels, okay, local issues and local channels, and I'm trying to figure it out. So I see a serious disconnect between the national channels, which are trying to propagate this much. And the issue for me is very simple. Bajrang Dal is not equal to Bajrang Bali is not equal to Bajrang Bali. The second issue, more important, is Karnataka is really in a bad shape. The 40% commission is
okay, Ajay, you made that point. Let me get a reaction from Charu Pragya of the BJP. Bajrang Bali and Bajrang Dal are not the same. Why are you unable to see the difference is what the Congress asks. Charu Pragya, please reply.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And let's begin by where the story started. The story started when Congress wanted to establish its support to the PFI because the comparison of Bajrang Dal was made to the PFI. And what is PFI? It is a banned terrorist organization in the entire country and banned with sufficient proof because as we know, PFI has repeatedly gone to the courts challenging this ban. So as of today, if the Congress wants to side with the PFI, for their politics of appeasement with a certain section of the minority, what do? They target the Bajrang Dal. And what does the Bajrang Dal do? It is an organization, a nationalist organization focused on seva work, which actually talks of seva, suraksha and sanskriti. How can you draw a comparison between the two? Also, the Congress spokesperson says that the BJP is making a big deal of it. Sir, you are the one who put it in your manifesto. The Congress party thought it is that big a deal that it had to be a part of the Congress manifesto.
No, but
and you said we are making a big deal of it.
No, but Charu, just one point.
Very importantly, if Bajrang Dal is such a menace to you, why have you not banned it in any of the other states that you rule? What about Rajasthan? What about Chhattisgarh? Is Bajrang Dal banned there?
You do know that the Bajrang Dal was once banned by the Narasimha Rao government. That ban was revoked a year later.
And that ban did not stand in the court of law.
No, it was revoked. So, Vishnu, can I?
Yeah, go ahead, Ajay.
Look, Charuji, with all due respect, we have said that the PFI and whether it's Owaisi, whether it is the politics of Mr. Owaisi or whether it's your politics, is the politics which is destroying the country. So for us, Mr. Owaisi or PFI is in the same level in which the Bajrang Dal activists are trying to, or the fringe elements of yours are trying to. And if you're going to call Bajrang Dal nationalist party, I mean, it's the greatest slap on the face of the Indian Constitution. I'm saying that. Let me complete, ma'am. Let me complete. My only question is, why is it that they're doing so many criminal activities? First question. The second issue is, please read what we said. I know that the BJP, you're a well-read person, but the BJP people by and large don't seem to read much. Read our manifesto. That anybody who breaks the law, do you have an objection to that? That anybody who breaks the law, we will take action against them. Now you please tell in national TV that you have an objection to anyone who breaks the law. Then I'm okay with it. That you're saying that we have said organizations like the PFI and Bajrang Dal and any organization who takes law into
okay, let Charu reply,
Ajay. That is wrong. Yeah, just clarify to me the break.
No, but Charu, I think the point that you mentioned is a bit bizarre because this is the Bajrang Dal that you are talking about, which has been synonymous with so much violence. They've been synonymous, for example, Babu Bajrangi in the context of the Gujarat violence. There have been accusations of them harassing couples on Valentine's Day, storming pubs, staging protests against artists who they believe offended Hindu sentiments. Is this a group that you're proud of?
So, Vishnu, can we come back to scratch from where this started? If Bajrang Dal is such a problem for the Congress, have they banned it in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh?
No, but I'm asking you that question because you defended the Bajrang Dal very strongly.
Now I'm coming back to your question. Now, there can be stray elements in any organization, our political organizations or any social organization. So, for a few stray elements, are you going to say that you're going to ban an entire organization because it suits your narrative?
Are there a few stray...
You are the party that lifted the cases against PFI. You are the party that
Charu, respectfully,
who tried hard to lift the ban on Simi even. That's the kind of politics Congress has been playing not once, not twice, but repeatedly and habitually.
I would just argue, Charu, that it's not one or two incidents. There's a litany of incidents over here.
But
one second, I want to, Ajoy, I want to go across to Professor Chandan Gowda as well. Professor Gowda, do you agree with Ajoy when he says that, look, this is being made into a big issue by the national media on the ground, the entire issue of the Bajrang Dal, it's not a real political issue in the run-up to these elections. Is that correct? Do you agree?
Yes, I think that's true. But before I say anything more, Vishnu, it should be borne in mind that the Congress is not declaring an intention to ban it. It is only saying we shall, be tough towards anyone who tries to generate enmity between communities, caste and religion communities. It's not just Hindus and Muslims. And it just names these two organizations to indicate what it has in mind. But it's important that it is done that. I mean, it should tell you something about how the situation is on the ground, at least, especially in the coastal area. I think it has that in mind because Bajrang Dal is really not a presence outside the coastal region in Karnataka, which is why most local media don't seem to be paying too much attention to it. And of course, the BJP, as you showed us in the beginning, Prime Minister Modi talking about it in all of his speeches today, and the national media talking about it, is trying to make it seem like a major faux pas on the part of the Congress. But I think the Congress is fairly clear about why it has done it in this fashion, both because it energizes its own local cadres in the coastal area, and also because it encourages the minorities to think that the Congress will secure them should things get should things go out of hand. So this is, I think, a win-win situation as far as the Congress is concerned. Also because in the coastal area, the Hindutva vote is saturated. There is no, I don't think it loses anything by declaring an intention to be serious about law and order.
Okay. Zainab Sikandar, I would argue that Narendra Modi making these remarks at this end of the campaign, a campaign in which, for example, our own poll studies have indicated may not necessarily be going all that well for the BJP, may have picked on a trump card. We've seen the power of Modi with words. So therefore, if he says or accuses the Congress of, and I quote, trying to lock up those who worship Lord Hanuman in the same way as they had earlier locked up Lord Ram, which is a reference to the Babri Masjid issue, is this not strong political rhetoric?
It is very strong political rhetoric, and one has to be naive to think that this isn't really a matter that is playing any factor on ground in Karnataka. In fact, like Professor Gaura rightly said, the coastal regions are completely saturated. The Hindu votes there are consolidated. The Gaura Saraswat Brahmins, the Kannadigas in general, the Konkanis, they will vote for BJP en masse. Now, the votes that are a bit scattered, these kind of, cries by Prime Minister Modi on a national level where he's saying Jai Bajrang Bali and Vande Mataram and the crowd is, chanting with him, it's going to consolidate the crowd that was sitting on the fence, and that's very obvious. So you have to realize BJP has always dealt three cards in every state assembly election. One is welfare scheme. The other is caste politics, and this is where the permutation and combination, they work out really well. Like in UP, they do it brilliantly. And the third is communalism, where they bring in Hindutva. Now, Karnataka is known as the Hindutva laboratory of South India for the BJP and the Sangh Parivar, which is why from the very beginning, first they started with, banning cow slaughter. Then they went on with saying that halal meat should not be given all across Karnataka. Then they went for the hijab ban. Now they're going in for the whole Bajrang Bali fiasco where, Congress said that Bajrang Bali should be banned. In fact, I think Congress went on to, have a self-goal in this particular matter because they shouldn't have gone on the defensive like they have. You can see Khargeji saying, I will not comment, and others are trying to defend what Congress meant in its manifesto. Whereas if they really meant it, that they want to, ban fringe elements like PFI and Bajrang Dal, then they should have been very confident in saying, yes, we will, and we will stick to our manifesto point. So as usual, I think Congress has served a self-goal. And this will consolidate, the BJP Hindu votes that were on the fence for sure.
Ajay, would you like to respond to that before I go across to Rahul?
So Zainab and me are living on two different planets. So we have been saying very clearly that please read it, that we will ban anybody who's on fringe element. So Zainab, I'm in Bangalore, and so either I'm living on a different planet, which I need to check that. The other issues we have been, and in all, Mr. Gehlot was here, we've been saying it, we'll ban everyone. And for my respectable BJP speaker, whether it is Lashkar-e-Toiba elite, the Congress party always took action. And I would definitely urge you, Charuji, to be a little careful when we say that when did we ask not to ban the Simian, these kind of untruths and lies you perpetuate. It's not good for a spokesperson to lie, because I would really, the NDTV has my credentials and location. You can please send me the link, because I definitely would respect a spokesperson. There's some of you who come, and I respect all my political opponents, but some of you who come, very often I see, things thrown and lies being, and I don't expect it to be done by a national party. So my request to you is, please don't say that. The Congress party never, ever, ever spoke on any of these people like Simi and all. OSC are your B team. Power to you people, more people to you, and we have no issues on that. But we will continue to take action against all fringe elements, whether it is Islamic, whether it is the kind of element.
Okay, let me get Charu to reply to that. Charu, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. And Ajoyji, the fact is that when Congress came to power in Karnataka, all the cases that were filed against the PFI were reversed. They were taken back, and this is on record. You can go back and check it if you want. I will also share the link with you. See, I also think that we are responding here, Vishnu, and we cannot forget the fact that we are responding to a jibe that was made by the Congress openly in its manifesto. So if you do not want to target only the Bajrang Dal, and if you say you want to target all fringe elements, write that in your manifesto. Why do you need to quote Bajrang Dal by name? You obviously want to draw a comparison between an extremist Islamic organization, which is already banned, and equate it to the Bajrang Dal, and that I think is greatly unfair. It cannot be a coincidence that repeatedly insult comes to those organizations which are supportive of the Hindu ideology, Hindu gods and goddesses. I think it hurts the astha of people.
Rahul, are you proud of the Bajrang Dal despite all the violence that they've indulged in?
Vishnuji, there may always be, a kind of hard right or hard left organization, but it is unfair to compare them to an extremist banned organization. Here what's really happening is called monkey balancing. Monkey balancing basically means equating two things that are not equatable, because our 13% Muslim brothers in Karnataka will feel more comfortable. So they will see that anyway PFI is banned, so Bajrang Dal is also like PFI. Is a kind of monkey balancing, and insincere monkey balancing that is happening. As Charuji rightly pointed out, had Bajrang Dal been such a big issue, they could have easily banned in other states. There is at least not even a move like that. See, you may disagree with some of the actions of our hard right or hard left, but at the end of the day, they belong to the Indian political spectrum. Whereas Islamist organizations, especially of the terrorist nature, are totally different ball game. For example, Kerala is having some great Muslim organizations like Indian Union Muslim League, who is respected by everyone. But PFI is an organization that is even being hated by Muslim organizations because of their radical nature. So, you shouldn't compare apples to pineapples and say they both rhyme.
But what exactly about the Bajrang Dal, the alleged involvement in Gujarat, the role of Babu Bajrangi, the allegations of their involvement in the Gram-Stains and murder case, the alleged involvement in murders near Sulia in Karnataka in July last year, storming pubs, staging violent protests, harassing couples, Valentine's Day. One goes on and on and on. There are multiple issues every year.
I think violence is
it's about violence, isn't it, Rahul?
Violence is an absolute no-no. I think we all agree with it. But
right.
there is a slight difference
any
between
group that
violence
endorses
and terror.
Violence be acceptable?
Absolutely no. But there is a difference between violence and terror. Because violence is different, terror is on a different dimension altogether. I don't think any civilized society or any political party, whether they be left or right, will accept violence. But terrorism is a different game. For example, many people have even gone to ISIS.
In the context of those who get killed, this sort of violence is also terrorism. But be that as it may, Ajay, you had a point. Go ahead.
No,
Vishnu,
Rahul is a good friend, but my question is very simple: if you kill somebody on basis of religion, on basis of a community, or not supporting your views, You're terrorizing it. And we are saying it that if you're the Bajrang Dal and Charuji, the Bajrang Dal has done a lot of heinous crimes recently in Haryana. They burned two people alive. And my question again is, if you keep saying that, and Vishnu correctly said that if they're around, and I was just going through the long list of cases of Bajrang Dal elements. If there are 200-300 cases which are coming of violence, even the killing of the sub-inspector of police in Uttar Pradesh and Ayodhya, Mr. Mishra, Subodh Kumar, if I remember. The question, we are saying we will, as a responsible political party, even the Bharatiya Janata Party, and they are in power, anybody who breaks the law, and that was what this manifesto said. We said that likes of PFI and Bajrang Dal and anybody who breaks the law, we will go after them. If Bajrang Dal doesn't break the law, then why would we go after them? First question. The second question is, most important thing is, the history of Bajrang Dal has not covered itself with glory. And when the Prime Minister,
No, but then why don't you ban the Bajrang Dal in other states that you rule?
Vishnu, this is what I'm saying. This is an entirely local episode.
Chandan, I'll come to you next, yeah.
Let me answer.
Ajoy, quickly reply to that question. Why have you not...
One sec. So in Chhattisgarh, we have not had these violences. I think there's one stray incident in Rajasthan. Would you expect us to do it? In Karnataka, there are lots of cases. Okay, there are lots of cases. So first question is that. My logic to this group is that I want every panelist to tell me that what did we write? That anybody who breaks the law, we will take action against them. Whether it is Charu, whether it is Rahul, whether it is...
all right, okay. All right, okay, fair enough. 1 second, Ajoy. Chandan, go ahead. I'm running short on time. I wanted to go back to Zainab after this. Yes.
Vishnu, all of us are trying to extrapolate this on a national level and look at the fine points between how these organizations differ, etc. But the point is, this is a state-level manifesto looking at these two groups that have been at each other over the last many years. The PFI in Mangalore was formed as a response to the Bajrang Dal's activities. It is modeled exactly on them. So violence to match violence. It's very, very unfortunate. So while we may want to look at them as different, etc., the locals see them as, here is a group that protects Muslims, here is a group that protects Hindus. And they've been at violent encounters have
okay, Charu, you want to reply to that? That when it comes to violence, you can't make a distinction.
No, first of all, Professor Chandan is factually wrong. The PFI is a rebanding of the SIMI activists who came together, and because SIMI got banned, they had to come up with another organization. This is a well-known fact. If you look at the members of the PFI, they align with the members of the SIMI. Please do not compare it to the Bajrang Dal, because that is where you go wrong. That is where you think you protect your narrative. You pull down other narratives and pretend it's a lie. The fact is, SIMI is banned, and for very obvious reasons, and PFI was a rebanding of SIMI activists. Let's get that clear.
No, the PFI Mangalore was formed in 2006. I mean, this is very, very clear. So it has an older history in Kerala, but the Mangalore history is recent. And the SDPI is an offshoot of that, and it's contesting elections. It's the political party. The Congress is also trying to tell the Muslims, be with us.
Okay.
Don't split your vote.
All right.
That added,
all right.
intention.
Okay. Zainab, bottom line, is this the X factor the BJP was looking for in terms of the popular narrative? It's not necessarily gone their way at all in this campaign.
It is 100% the X factor for BJP. Trust me, this will be a turning point for the amount of votes that shift to the BJP. And yes, the Congress does live on a different planet from all of us. And the results of the past elections are very much evident. I'm saying this very respectfully to Dr. Joy. I mean, none of us sitting here are haters of any political party. I am really very seeing the whole political landscape very, equally. So the reality is that Congress does, have a habit that in the last leg of a race, they do some faux pas which hits them so badly, and it makes sure that they lose the election in the last, that sprint that they have to make to win. And this is that very point. I mean, are you missing how the crowd is chanting? Are you missing how people are discussing this over social media? If you're missing this just because you're sitting in Mangalore doesn't mean that the entire Karnataka is under your purview in terms of what's happening on ground, because we are hearing different things on ground. So in my opinion, this is going to be a very important factor, and coming from Modi, Prime Minister Modi's own
All
mouth
right.
of saying
Okay.
Bajrang Bali is being
It's
attacked.
also you
It's gonna hit big for
All right,
BJP.
it's going to hit big. Let's see what happens. Ajoy, I can give you 30 seconds if you stick to 30
So
seconds.
you must call Zainab and me on the same day on the 13th of and I would
All
love
right,
to-
okay, fair enough. Good response.
I'll be there.
If you remind me, I promise you I will. I'll be sitting over here on that day. But thank you all very much for being with us. Let's see what finally takes place. But yes, important. It is an important political debate. The Prime Minister, known to be a master in the use of words, is the use of the words Bajrang Dal in this context something that's going to actually have an impact, which is going to benefit the BJP. We'll have to wait and see. Out of time on Left, Right and Centre. From all of us here, good night.